Hello.
We're just hanging out in the tiny house that we moved Corey into in the backyard.
That's where I live.
That's our house. Yep. We were reading this really cool book about the union of Isis and Thoth. That's how I pronounce this. Some people say Thoth, some people say Thoth, right?
I say toast, yeah.
But when I connect, I feel it is Thoth. So that's what I'm going to say. But one of the interesting things I've noticed as we've continued to work with sound and intention and meditation is like how much has opened for me in terms of like connecting with other beings.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to go all the way out there. I'm going to talk about this stuff. We're talking about this stuff because this is like really what we experience.
Yeah.
And I've been connecting with Thoth, and prior to that, like Corey was having experiences with connecting with different beings and deities.
I was kind of guided to work with sound before I didn't go to sound baths. I worked with frequency a little bit, like just listening to recordings online for my own personal anxiety, and found it effective. But like it was middle of quarantine, and I was meditating like 3 hours a day, and had gotten a copper pyramid, and really started to like channel some really high frequency entities, and it was literally like every part of it was guided. And then so I find that since I started using the crystal bowls only, and I did it for months just in my own personal meditation too, but even like working through shadow work, any really hard stuff I couldn't even like pinpoint or define, that I just knew was a faulty programming, but I couldn't really get to it on my own. Like I put the intention out there, and something about the sound is like this just synergistic power that helps move things out of your cells without even aware. Like I've been healed of things I didn't even know were wrong with me, nor could I define sense. It's just a lifting that feels. So anyways, it's also opened up the clarity around the guides I already have. She'll just start straight channeling.
She'll play sounds, and then, or I'll listen to a recording of a sound bath we've done, and I literally will just start channeling Thoth or Edgar Casey or Anubis.
Hathor. I have some light beings who, my main man there is Heckmont, and he comes through really, really clear sometimes, and Anubis comes through a lot for me as well, where there's obviously an Egyptian connection between the both of us. And it's really interesting how spirit works out, like me, her, and then also Laura, just how spirit puts different things, has you all experiencing different experiences, so that it's like you come together with this unified, like, oh, shit you would never talk to anybody about.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy sounding stuff.
But then you find out that the people you're supposed to work with are having the same experience, and it's just, spirit is fascinating.
And we're getting like different parts of the like they'll guide us to, like they've guided us to activate.
It's like an unraveling Irish puzzle that you get hints about.
Yeah, and so much like the Seraphonite activation we did, we were doing the obsidian activation, and like Laura, prior to that, Laura had just felt compelled to purchase a large quantity of obsidian.
Raw obsidian, gorgeous raw obsidian.
It's amazing. And so we built a grid, and we did this activation. Corey was playing bowls, I was channeling.
We were in the copper pyramid, I was.
Yeah, she was in the copper pyramid. All three of us have a copper pyramid that we sit in, but that night it was just you in it. And
but also Laura has a really super intuitive like gridding ability. Like
when she grids, it
alignment with Mother Earth, and sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's fine.
It's just imperative to have that kind of like alignment with the gridding.
Yeah, because the grid helps create a quantum space. Which is literally like a bigger pyramid or temple in which we're doing this activation work. It's so much. It's like, I don't even know how to simplify this stuff. You're so great about like walking back to the beginning of like, I just dive into like channeling toes, but it didn't start there. It started years and years ago.
Exactly, because then this is all stuff that anybody can do if they actually will to do it and put the time in. It's not something that...
And have appropriate energetic boundaries and grounding.
Exactly.
Always.
I meditated for at least half an hour up to an hour a day for years before I even got to a point of like really crazy multi-dimensional things opening up in me. But when it did, it was like, it's just been expanding ever since.
And we're both Reiki masters, and so we have the support of the Reiki frequency, which is a very pure high frequency of love, supporting us. And it's not like we just one day decided we were going to start randomly channeling and connecting with Egyptian deity. They're not even it's not...
It's so
Egyptian
much older than
is
that.
one of the most recent civilizations that had this information.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I work with Yeshua and the Magdalens too, and that is just a continuation of that same energy.
Right.
To me, it's just a different,
There's different faces and costumes and names and languages for these aspects of source.
Yeah.
I guess is a way to say that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Aspects of source.
I mean, we have to, as human beings that only use like 5% of their brain anyway, cannot even fathom the concept of what goddess, source is by definition. So at first, even to have something tangible that makes us feel comfortable in defining, we're already taking away from it just in finding a form for it. So how can it express itself to humans that aren't evolved there yet without breaking down into these forms that are comfortable for the individual?
Yeah, exactly. And so these forms we're connecting with them and they're guiding this work that we're doing, but knocking things over. We don't always know what it is initially. So we get these little signs and I didn't realize how connected Anubis and Obsidian were. So like Laura's like getting the Obsidian, Corey was connecting with Anubis, and then like I started tapping into that through my connection. I'd first opened to Hathor, and it's just been interesting to see that like the links between all of the things, and they come together so effortlessly, but it does take time. So if you're getting guidance about something, or you're connecting with something and you're not sure what it is, it's really important that
follow that.
You honor it, especially again if you've taken the time to set the appropriate energetic boundaries.
And that is number one key to anything larger entities or multidimensional work at all, is like you have to have that foundational I like to call, like, I spend time like actually building my chi up, like my kundalini energy, like in the mornings before, and then I get taken places, but it takes me to a place of high vibration, which is, it's like a protective state. If you're just opening yourself up without getting yourself there and without willing in what is allowed in and what is allowed out, the higher that you get, you're also equally open to energies that aren't for the highest good, that are as powerful, because everything's on the polarization spectrum, right? One cannot exist without the other. So protective boundaries are imperative to any of this, or your ignorance will show.
Yeah. And I always set the intention that what I am doing and anything that happens is for the highest healing and good. And so there is something about you reach a certain vibrational state that is in its own way a protective energy and also a facilitating energy of even being able to connect with these beings. But then you also always set the intention that it's for the highest healing and good, that it's for the purest frequency of love, whatever feels appropriate for you, so that you're being very clear that even if your conscious brain cannot discern if something is okay or not, because some of these beings feel scared. Like when I first felt Anubis, I felt scared.
It's intense.
It's an intense energy. There is no way I could have even been able to open to Toth if I hadn't gotten comfortable with Anubis, and it took me a while to get comfortable with Anubis's energy. And I mean, these are just some examples. Like years ago, I was connecting with the Morrigan, who's a Celtic triplet goddess. And she was so powerful and intense that when she came through, I thought I was having a brain aneurysm and was going to die. Literally, I was curled up in the fetal position on my bed, but my guides were there, and I said, I will allow this if it is in the highest healing and good. And I had built up such a relationship at that point with my team of guides in spirit that I knew they wouldn't, I have bouncer guides, and I knew they wouldn't even have let the Morrigan come through if it was going to be detrimental to me. So even though that's okay. I know you're excited.
Sorry,
but I literally felt like I was dying, and I had to surrender to that feeling and that sensation with the trust that I had already created the appropriate boundaries and the appropriate spiritual support to guide me through that death experience.
Totally.
What were you going to say? Sorry. The more. And the more.
I don't know, I kind of forgot.
We get excited about
I know,
this.
I get very excited.
I gotta hold your hand. Sorry, I don't mean to... the other thing that has really helped me...
I remember what I was going to say.
Yes, okay, go for it. Go.
So I feel like the more you do it, after a while, there will be times when they almost like test your discernment.
Yeah.
So things will come in that look like other things, but something's off. Something's off, and it'll look just like it. It'll come in hard like it, and then but always listen. The key is to always listen to that discernment in your heart, because I believe now in retrospect that those times were like, I love how you said bouncer guides, because I feel the same way. You get comfortable with this crew that you can bring anything to, and they got your back, and they're going to show you. And so like I bring it to them. Like I don't know, no disrespect, but I don't know if I can trust this charlatan, right?
Exactly.
And but anyway, that's something that actually happens to me quite often.
Yeah. As we continue to open to more things. Yeah, and I had a recent experience of that, and so there will be times when I can't feel my guides. And that's a warning sign. I'm like, oh, my guides aren't here. And it's not that they won't show up for me, but it is one of those refining experiences of discernment where you're being asked to really, there are times you have to trust yourself. And if something feels off, trust that. It was different than, yes, I felt some fear with the intensity of Anubis, but when I dropped in, I was like, is this unsafe? And it was like, no. But then there's these kind of like trickster energies, and they want to like kind of see, like, can you be trusted with this information from a higher frequency, with the gifts?
It's initiation processes. You will be put through initiation.
It is initiation. And so there are times that you can't rely on your team of guides, that you have to make a choice from within yourself. And I have had being approached me saying that she was Isis, but something felt a little off. Not all the way off, but it was enough to be like, wait a minute. And then what she was asking of me did not feel right. And I was not comfortable agreeing to what she was asking. And so I said no. And there was this weird, crazy shrieking sound. And like, I banished her from the space. But, and it was powerful. I could feel it. But it was one of those moments of discernment, because we were kind of leveling up again.
And more things try to come in as the more that you do this work. It's like that, the 7 demons or whatever, just as an analogy, but it's gonna happen. So to me, like any part of this is building up that muscle of your, cord, if you will.
Yeah.
And your alignment. And when you focus on that and build that up, it's like the Bali, is it Balinese? Is that proper to say? Balinese energy workers. I watched this like documentary on them or whatever, and they spend like 30 to 45 minutes doing spinal exercises and focusing their Kundalini energy as literally as just a protection, because of the work that they have to do. And I think that's important, especially if you're an energy worker, like important. And then just in day-to-day life.
To survive life.
To not take on the collective fuck shit that happens all the time.
Yeah, you need a robust spiritual practice that builds your chi or your energy, and then also nourishes you and grounds you. And helps you strengthen your capacity to have high frequencies of energy within a denser physical form. I mean, we literally are a bridge. We are a bridge between heaven and earth, between the divine and the world of form. And so we have to learn how to be that bridge, that antenna. And it requires fortification of the physical as well as the mental, the spiritual, the energetic, all of it. Yeah. This is cool stuff, babe.
Yeah.
I hope y'all like it. We can talk about this stuff for hours, but we just want to like give a taste of like, we're just like weirdly normal people, but this is our life. Like, this is like how we exist in the world and what happens for us and around us, and it's happening for a lot of people. And so just having these conversations, normalizing this stuff, and also knowing what to do to continue growing and staying safe and grounded, I think is important.
Yeah,
so if y'all have questions about anything that we do or anything that you're going through on your own journey.
Sound is also amazing for sorry baby, I didn't put you on. Sound is also amazing for just people starting out to try to connect with themselves.
Yes.
Because it breaks through mental chatter that people that can't sit with themselves can't get comfortable meditating because of.
Yeah.
So you don't just have to like start talking to Egyptian gods immediately.
No,
like,
this
we're
is
just talking
advanced
about
practice, or at least intermediate.
Yeah, but if you have any questions about sound whatsoever, meditation, or just the etheric world,
let us know.
That's all. Sorry.
And also the other thing I was about to say, because y'all saw I like was like, I have to grab your hand, and it's not just because I'm like clingy, needy needy girlfriend. It's really that Corey has been so like grounding for me. I always knew I needed, like, I do my best work when I have like someone to help ground and hold space, as well as be able to like raise the frequency and ground it. And so doing this work partnered, that was part of what opened us up. Like, we had done so much solo work, both of us, and we
which is a testament to the work, because no one's ever said that I grounded them prior to like 35 years old in my life. So
yes,
that's a testament to this work and that it works.
Yeah, this work works, and the level, I don't want to say level, but the quality of partnership that we have is just,
I didn't know it was possible.
It's
honestly.
Profound, and it's a part of the work.
Yeah.
And
it's spiritual fulfillment.
It is.
We're surrendering all parts of our love for each other and our passion, and using that energy to serve.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of magic that happens when you find those things.
So much.
Yeah. Anyway.
I love you.
I'm going too far.
No, you're not.
All right. Bye.
Okay, we're gonna go. Bye.